Welcome to the session. Today we will discuss about SQL constraints. Yes, first of all, SQL constraints, they are used to specify rules. These are used to specify the rules, specify rules for data in a table. Okay, so we will see different types of constraints today. So first phase, SQL create constraints. Okay, this is used to create constraints. Create constraints. Okay, so constraints can be specified. These can be specified when the table is created. When the table is created within the create table statement. In the create table statement. Okay, or afterwards, once the table is created, with the help of alter table statement, we can create. Meaning during the table creations, we can create within the create table statement, or we can create the constraints on the existing table using alter table statement. Let's see the syntax for this. Syntax for create table statement. So this is okay, here we will see the first point where we will create constraint within the create table statement. Okay, this is the syntax for this. Create table name. Okay, column 1, data type 1. Then we can mention constraint whatever if we want. Okay, we'll see what are the different types of constraints in the SQL. Okay, similarly column 2, data type 2, constraint 2, then followed by column 3, data type 3, constraint number 3. Okay, this is a syntax for this. So okay, we will see different types of constraints here. First of all, constraints, they are used to limit the type of data that can go into a table. Constraints are used to limit the type of data that can go into a table. Okay, this ensures accuracy. So now we'll see types of constraints. Number first is not null constraint. Okay, this constraint ensures that the column cannot have null value. Okay. Next, we will see unique constraints. So ensures all the values in a column are different. Okay. Next is primary key. We'll see the examples once we go through all the constraints. Primary key. This is a combination of not null and unique constraint. Okay, it uniquely identifies a row in a table. Next is foreign key. This is used to establish a relationship between two tables. Or you can link the tables. It prevents actions that would destroy the links between tables. Check constraints. This ensures a value in a column satisfies a condition, a specific condition. Okay. So next, default constraint. Default constraint. So this sets a default value for a column if no value is specified. Okay. It is to set a default value. Create index. Create index used to create and retrieve data from the database very quickly. Okay, these are a couple of the constraints. So first we will see one by one. So not null constraint in a create table. Okay, let's see the example. For this, I'll use test db test. Okay, let's create table persons. Okay, and we'll mention id column integer data type. Not null is a constraint we are mentioning here. This is a constraint we are mentioning here, followed by last name, which is of varchar of 255. This also will make not null constraint. And SQL SSMS is a case insensitive. Okay, these two are same constraints. Okay. First name varchar of 255, not null constraint, and we'll say age integer. Okay, this is one sample table. Let's create this. Okay, so this can be mentioned along with the creative. Let's say I want to add a constraint, not null constraint, for age column. Okay, how we can do this? We can do using alter table. Okay, to create not null constraint on the age column in the persons table, which is already existed, we can use alter table persons alter column age integer not null constraint. Okay, this is a syntax: alter table name, alter column name, data type, and its constraint, whatever constraint you want to do it. So if we see the table structure, select the table name and press alt F1. Here we can see whether it's nullable column or not. See, as we have already mentioned the not null constraints, you can see no. So age, we have not given any constraint. Let's run this statement. Okay, and then we'll see the table structure. See, now this became not null constraint. Okay. Now we will see unique constraint. This is unique constraint. This is not null constraint along with create table and alter table. So unique constraint ensures that all values in a column are different. Okay. Both unique and primary key constraints, both unique and primary key constraints provide guarantee of uniqueness. Provide a guarantee for uniqueness for a column or set of columns. The only difference between primary key and unique key is in primary key this will not allow any null values, but in unique key we can have one null value. Okay, and we can have a number of unique constraints in the table. primary key only one in a table. Okay, let's see the syntax for this. Create table persons. Okay, we'll say employees as person is already created, or we can drop table persons, then we can recreate it. Drop it. We'll recreate with the different fields and constraints here. So let's say ID integer, not null constraint, and we'll say unique. Okay, and last name varchar of 255, not null constraint. First name varchar of 255, then age integer. Okay, this is how we can create a unique constraint. Okay, this is one way of doing one way of creating a unique constraint within a create table. The other way is, instead of mentioning the constraint here, we can also mention the constraint in this fashion. Constraint we need to give some name for the constraint. UC person will go unique key person unique. Okay, on which column? ID column, and I will say last name also I want. This is how we can do it. So first we will see this one. If we see the table structure, here we have one unique key. So in this case, the name of the constraint is auto generated by SQL server. Okay, it is showing on ID column we have unique key. Okay, let's drop paste and create this one. So we can have more than one unique key, no problem. So here you can see unique key on ID and last name both. Okay, so let's see how we can add unique key constraint using alter statement. Using alter table statement. So let's say I want to add unique key here. Let's drop the table. Then while creating a table, I will not mention any key constraint here, meaning unique constraint. Let's create a table. And if you see the table structure, there is no, apart from primary key, nothing else has been generated. So we will add constraint to the persons table using alter persons table, add unique on ID. Okay, so if we do this on ID, we will have one unique. Okay, if you see the table structure, then we can see the unique key has been added. Okay, next we can drop this unique key constraint using drop unique constraint. Okay, how we can do? Outer table persons drop okay, drop. Here we need to mention the constraint name. Drop constraint unique. Okay, this will drop the unique key on a table. See, okay. So let's see primary key constraint now. Primary key constraint. Okay, the primary key constraint uniquely identifies each record in a table. Primary key must contain unique values and cannot contain null values. Okay, a table can have only one primary key. Okay, and in the table, the primary key can consist of single or multiple columns. Primary key consists of single or multiple columns. Okay, let's see the syntax for this. Create table persons. Let's first drop this persons table. Create person id integer not null constraint, and we'll say primary key. Okay, followed by last name varchar 255 not null constraint, first name varchar age int. Okay, so let's see, let's create a table, and if you see the primary key on the id column has been created. Okay, to allow a naming control, let's see how we can name the constraint, primary key constraint. For that, we'll drop the table, we'll remove the primary key constraint here, and we will mention constraint pk. Let's say primary key, we can mention pk person and primary key. This is the name of the constraint. Okay, primary key on what columns? Let's say id. I want primary key on id. You can mention primary key on multiple columns, but let's create on id column. If we see the table structure, here we can see the index name is primary key person id. Okay, in this example there is only one primary key. However, the value of the primary key is made up of two columns. Okay, now we will see how we can create primary key using alter statement. So that I will create a table, and we'll when create constraint using alter statement, we'll say add primary key on id column. Okay, this is a other way of creating a constraint. Okay, okay, using alter table, if you want to drop a constraint, we can drop it using drop constraint name. Constraint name is this. Okay, let's say I want to mention a primary key name using alter statement. We can do alter table name, add constraint name, give the name of constraint name, the primary key and id. Okay, here you can name the constraint using alter table also. Okay, now let's see foreign key constraint. Foreign key constraint. Okay, a foreign key constraint used to prevent actions that would destroy the links between two tables. Okay, foreign key is a field in one table that refers the primary key in another table. This is a field in one table that refers to the primary key in another table. The table with a foreign key, table with a foreign key is called child table. Okay, and the table with the primary key, table with the primary key is called master table or parent table or master table or referenced table. Okay, now let's say there are two tables, one with persons. So if we see the person structure, we have one primary key. Okay, let's create one more table for orders. Okay. Create table orders. Here we will mention order ID, int, order number int, and we'll say person ID. Okay, person ID, integer, and we'll say this is a foreign key. References, persons table, of column ID. Okay. Here also we'll make this as a primary key, not null, constraint, primary key. Okay. So this is how we created a table for orders, and this is having a foreign key references to the persons table. So now we'll see how to add foreign key using alter table. Okay, let's say I have created a table, drop table orders. Then let's create without any foreign key. So we have created one table. So there is no foreign key here. Okay, no foreign key. And let's add using alter table. So alter table, table name, add foreign key on which column? On person ID column. I'll say person ID column foreign key, references, persons table of ID column. Okay. This is how we can add foreign key using alter statement. Let's say we want to mention foreign key in a table. For that, first we'll drop this created constraint, drop alter table name, drop for foreign key, drop constraint, foreign key name will mention. Okay, so here if we want to mention foreign key, we can achieve this by foreign key. We'll say add constraint fk person order, which is a name followed by foreign key references to person. Okay, if you see the structure here, we can see the name of the foreign key. Okay, next we'll see check constraint. So check constraint, it used to limit the value. Okay, let's see how we can mention this in a create table. So let's create a persons table. Okay, first we drop this. Okay, it's already dropped. No, it has been referenced by a foreign key, so we cannot directly drop it. First, we'll drop the constraint. Okay, then we'll drop the person's table. Okay, now will create or check constraint. Let's say I don't want to allow the person's age more than 18 age 18 years. So for this I can add a check constraint age greater than or equal to 18. So this is how we can add check constraint in the create table. Okay, here if you see there's a check constraint. Okay, if I want to mention a naming again for this check constraints, we can do persons table age integer. We need to mention here constraint check person check age. Okay, this is how we can mention a constraint name. If you see the check constraint is here. Okay. Okay, now let's see how we can add drop check constraint using alter table. So we'll drop it and we will just create a table without constraints. Okay, we have created a table without check constraint. Now we can add using alter table persons. Okay, add check age greater than or equal to 18. Okay, now we can drop a constraint by using alter table persons drop constraint name. Okay, now we can add a name to the constraint using alter table. Add constraint check person age check. Okay, this is how we can pass the name of the constraint in the alter table statement. Okay, that's it for today's class. Tomorrow we'll continue with the default constraint. Thank you. Please subscribe my channel.